Welcome to Formula World. I'm your host Dylan Shelley, and here's what's on this episode. First up on Formula World, will Daniel Ricciardo leave or stay? Current Renault driver Daniel Ricciardo left many in F1 shocked when he moved to Renault from Red Bull in 2019. He described the move as a necessary risk for his title aspirations. Renault has, however, not been able to deliver a worthy car and finished 5th in the Constructors' Championship in 2019. Renault F1 boss Cyril Abiteboul has spoken about this. He began by revealing the plans they have for the future. The plan is to invest a lot in the 2021 car. Now, of course, the rule changes go to 2022, but that doesn't mean we don't change the plans right away. We still have a lot to develop in the coming years to be ready for 2022. He also accepts that his drivers have been good enough, and it is the car that is the missing link when it comes to performance. We want Daniel to be a part of this plan, but we have to focus on what is missing within the team. The drivers are already performing very well, so the focus should be on the car. We need to make sure that each driver can offer the best for the team and that we meet everyone's expectations. He then revealed how drivers will still play a big role in the future development of their car and what they intend to do if Ricciardo decides to leave. The drivers will play a role in the plan we have. We have a drivers' academy in which we have invested a lot of time and money. The goal was to bring a talent into Formula 1 by 2021. 2021 is next year, so that is also an option. Whether we also have the driver for that, we still have to see that. Daniel Ricciardo gave his thoughts on the whole thing as well. He reiterated his goals. My basic target with this whole journey was not just to get into F1, it was to leave a world champion. I really believe I am good enough to achieve it. He concluded by explaining his current predicament where he has to figure out if he should leave or stay. The challenge is to position yourself with the best team at that moment, and when the rule changes come in, it's like, is that still the right team to be with, or are we missing something? Do we need to try to build on what we've got here? Where does Vettel go from here? Many F1 experts feel that the latest iteration of the crazy season in F1's driver market has kicked into full gear with the announcement that Sebastian Vettel will no longer drive for Ferrari after the end of the 2020 season. This not only opens up a seat at one of the top teams, but also has the knock-on effect of creating vacancies in other teams, and that brings in all sorts of permutations and combinations, thus leading to a lot of speculation. One of the primary subjects of speculation in the last 24 hours has been regarding the future of Vettel post-2020. Red Bull's Christian Horner has clarified that there is no chance that Vettel will be back at Red Bull, the team with which he won all 4 of his championships. Horner explained why. We have an agreement with Verstappen for several years, and Alex is doing very well at the moment. The atmosphere within the team right now is very good. History has taught us that having 2 alpha males in a team don't go well. Sebastian is a very competitive driver. I think him next to Verstappen is not the best solution for the team. Some have suggested that Vettel could make a move to Mercedes, and their team principal Toto Wolff has kept the door open for such a possibility by saying, Sebastian is a great driver, a great personality, and an asset to any Formula 1 team. When we look to the future, we are first and foremost committed to our current Mercedes drivers. However, of course, we cannot ignore this development. Others have suggested that Vettel might retire altogether from F1. Racing Point's Sergio Perez said, it's probably his last year in F1. I think that he is closer to quitting in F1 than to joining a new team. Former F1 driver Pedro Della Rosa gave his analysis as to why Vettel's time in F1 might be coming to an end. He no longer talks about winning races or world championships, but about wanting a good future. That future probably won't lie with racing. His words sound like a farewell. If Vettel does choose to stay in F1, then possible options include a move to Renault or McLaren, but there is no official word on that yet. Ricciardo, Sainz, Alonso, Vettel, Hamilton, and the crazy season. Many possible scenarios have been discussed in the last 24 hours regarding which driver will end up where in 2021. Former F1 driver turned commentator Martin Brundle has given his thoughts on all the possibilities that lie ahead. He began by looking at Vettel's options. We know he's talking to other teams and he's got such a great turn of speed, but I wonder if it's the end of the road for Seb, or whether he'll take a midfield situation with promise. I don't necessarily see a home for Sebastian Vettel. He then looked at all other possibilities concerning drivers like Renault's Daniel Ricciardo, McLaren's Carlos Sainz, and retired F1 driver Fernando Alonso. I see a scenario which is Sainz to Ferrari, Ricciardo to McLaren, and then that leaves a seat at Renault that probably would be Fernando Alonso. The Renault seat, if I'm right with Ricciardo going to McLaren, is a work seat and may appeal to Vettel. I'm not entirely sure Hamilton is available. I think he's made it quite clear that Mercedes is his future, both in the cockpit and outside of it in the distant future. Brundle concluded by looking at the best options for Ferrari to replace Vettel. I had to think of Daniel Ricciardo myself first. That's a good option for me, but so is Carlos Sainz. Sainz has proven to be super constant, and Ricciardo is of course a super good driver with great PR value. In that respect, Sainz is better as a real second driver, but Ricciardo will not be out of place either. One man who won't be making that move to Ferrari for sure is Red Bull's Max Verstappen, but he expects Ferrari to make the right call. We will hear soon enough who will replace him. In any case, it's not me. I mean, it's a beautiful and good team, and I'm sure they will make the right decision about their next driver. Fast feed. Ferrari team principal Mattia Binotto has announced that the decision not to re-sign Vettel was made together with Sebastian, a decision that both parties believe is best. He also thanked Sebastian for his great professionalism and the human qualities he has shown in these 5 years. Red Bull's Max Verstappen finds it nice to be home so much, but would like to drive a Formula 1 car again. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has revealed that there was nothing going on at all regarding rumours about disagreements with Horner and talks of him leaving Red Bull. He further explained that Christian was against the budget cap while Red Bull was in favour, which is why there was some controversy. He also revealed that their driver Alex Albon will stay with them and Daniel Ricciardo will have almost no chance of signing with them. Franz Tost, team principal of AlphaTauri, has revealed that during a race weekend, after a positive test, you have to replace the whole team, because of which they have to find a replacement for each technician and mechanic. Former F1 world champion Fernando Alonso thinks that McLaren's Carlos Sainz is doing great, and not just last year, he's been doing great since Toro Rosso, and hopes that he has a good future. Racing Point team principal Otmar Safnauer feels that major car manufacturers at such a moment will find it difficult to consider motor racing as a part of their core business. Carlos Sainz Jr.'s father, Carlos Sainz Sr., has revealed that it is true that his son is happy where he is, but it is also true that lately things are moving a lot. Former F1 engineer Enrique Scalabroni has said that you have to be able to communicate your ideas to the people you work with, and there's only one person who works that way in F1 currently, and that's Red Bull's Adrian Newey. Red Bull team advisor Helmut Marko has suggested that Sebastian Vettel will continue in F1 only if he gets an offer that makes sporting sense. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has confirmed for the time being all F1 factories are closed, which he thinks is a sensible route for the FIA to take. He also revealed that all teams are suspended from working on their cars until the end of May, so no team will gain an advantage. And he is of the opinion that teams spend fortunes during winter copying others, why not just give them the opportunity to buy last year's car? He justified his opinion by saying that times change and this approach works well in MotoGP. Haas team principal Gunther Steiner feels that if Haas votes everything as the top teams do, they will go down themselves and they have to protect themselves and no one else. And the FIA revealed that they will be researching ways of improving yellow flag notifications so as to improve the reliability of notifications to the driver so that drivers can react in a correct and proportional way. Where will Ricciardo and Sainz end up in 2021? Be sure to vote in the poll and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you like this video, feel free to subscribe and check out my others for all the latest in the world of Formula 1.